today we are going to see these topics. Okay. Till yesterday, what we did is we performed click operation on some of the web elements, and then we tried to enter some data into web elements. And then today we will see how to clear data from the web elements. Sometimes before entering data, if you want to clear if anything is there, okay, how to clear it. There is a method called clear. Okay, clear is there. If you use that method, it will clear the data. Okay, after that we'll see about drop down boxes, how to enter data into drop down boxes. Okay, now let me show this example here. See guys, so I'm trying to launch Google Page. Okay, I'm trying to launch Google Page. After that, I'm trying to find the element Gmail, and then I'm clicking on it. Okay, after that we will get Gmail login page. There I'm trying to find email ID field and then trying to enter some mail ID. Okay, after that I'm clicking on next. Okay, before clicking on, okay, we are clicking on next. Okay, and then we are waiting for some time, because immediately if you after click on next, that page will take some time to load. Immediately if you try to find the element of password field, it may not work. Okay, that is the reason I am waiting for some time. Okay, now here what I am going to do is control. See here, I waited for 5 seconds and then I entered some password into password field. After that, I am trying to clear the data from the password field. That means I am trying to reset the data from that. Okay, let me run this. Okay. After clicking on next, I'm waiting for 5 seconds. Okay, and then I'm entering some password, and then after entering, we did clear operation. Is it clear? Guys, see here, we entered welcome to Selenium, okay, as password. After that, waited for 3 seconds, and then same element, I want to clear data from that element. So I am finding that element, password element, and then dot clear means it will clear the data. Okay, see here, it cleared the data. Okay, got it? So like this, if you want to clear the data from field, if it is a text field like input fields or text area or text field, text boxes, you can clear the data. Okay, now we'll go to some other one called drop down box. Okay, if you have a drop down box, how to select the values to that drop down box. See here, let me open my example. I have one. If you guys find any drop down box online one, just let me know. I will try that also. Okay, see here, I have a form. Okay, inside form, here subject is a drop down box. Okay, you can select any of the subject, either data structures or data mining or algorithms. Okay, now how to select these values using our Selenium program. Okay, now first let me open this site or file, and then I will go through. So Gmail one, I am commenting it. See guys, just I am opening that file. Okay, I am opening this. Let me open. After that, we'll try to select drop down box values. Okay, now if I want to select some values here, first this field, okay, whatever is highlighted in blue color, right? First we need to find out the XPath of that. Okay, what is the XPath of that element? Okay, now that is a select element. That is a select element. Okay, first we need to find this element. Okay, for this syntax is for drop down, create object of select class. There is a class called select. Okay, create object of select class. Okay, and while creating the object, pass that select object as an argument. Okay, pass. See here, this element. Okay, wherever we are seeing drop down box, that drop down box element or tag or web element we need to pass as argument to select a class. Okay, pass drop down web element as argument to constructor. Okay, now how to create object of select class? Select s equal to new select. Okay, there is a class, predefined class select is available. For drop down we should use that. Okay, select s equal to new select. Okay, for this, while calling this, while creating object of select class, you must pass your drop down box. Okay, this is the drop down box, right? It's web element, we need to pass it as an argument. Okay, what is the web element? Here select. Okay, now find the XPath of that, and using XPath you find the web element. Okay, see how to find the XPath of this select, whatever is highlighted here. Tell me guys. $x colon / select, right? Select and at the rate name equal to drop down. Okay, now this is the XPath we have to use to find this select element. Okay, now any select element, any drop down box, internally code is having select like that. Okay, select tag is used for drop down. Okay, so this is the XPath. So first I have to create object of select class. Select s equal to new select. Okay, so I have to pass web element of that drop down box. So how to find the web element? Driver dot find element by XPath. Okay. Now pass this expression, XPath expression. Okay. So got it. So what you have to do? Create an object of select class. Pass drop down web element as argument to the constructor. While creating object, you are using constructor, right? For that constructor, you pass drop down box web element. Drop down web element. Okay. Now we did that one, right? Now after that, how to select the values into that s dot. Okay. Select by index, select by value, select by text. Okay, like that. Not deselect, sorry, select by.
So Venkat, this we cannot do without creating an object like others.
No, we cannot. Like drop down is special case. We have to do like this. In that drop down, which element, which value you want to select, that you have to specify. Okay. Select by visual text. See here, when you see the code here, these are the values supported one. Data structures, data mining algorithms. Same one if you see inside that with option tag, all those are there. Data structures, data mining or algorithms. Okay. See here, I want to select data mining. Okay. Data mining. So whenever you are using select by visual text, okay, select by visual text, you must use these values. Okay, that means text of option tag you should use either this one or this one or this one, which one you want to show there. Okay, which one you want to select it there, that you should. Okay, let me give some sleep also so that we can observe. See here, initially it is showing data structures. I gave sleep of 5 seconds and then we selected data mining. Okay, got it? Now, another way is there. S dot by index. Select by index. Okay, see in this drop down, how many are there? 3 elements. 0th index is data structures. First index is data mining, second index is algorithms. Consider if you want to select algorithms. Okay. Now pass the index to, okay, it will change it to data structure, sorry, algorithms. Okay. To observe that, give some sleep time here so that we can observe the scenes. See, initially by default first element it is showing in the select box. Okay. After 5 seconds it changes to data mining. After 5 seconds again based on index it changes to algorithms. Okay, like this you can select the values of drop down box if it is used by using select box. If it is sometimes what happens is, though we are seeing like a select box, those are not select boxes. Sometimes let me show here. See guys, here select product is there, select product. Okay, see here, I'm moving the cursor there, select product. Here this one looks like a drop down box, but actually it is not a drop down. You can click on this. Okay, after clicking, just like a normal click what we performed yesterday, like that we can do here. Okay, just click on it and then click on any one of these. Okay, got it? So see here, generally if it is a drop down, immediately it will select that one there, but after clicking on that, it is opening another one. These are not actual drop downs. Okay, so in this case what you can do, just like a normal click, find the XPath of this element. Okay, and then see here, inspect element. This is a just a div tag, not select tag. It is not a select box. Whatever we see traditional select box is the one whatever I have showed here. Okay, for that procedure is different. Okay, like this it will show. Okay, after selecting, immediately it will come here. Okay, if you see the code also, it will show like select, inside select what are the available options. Okay, but whatever we have seen just now in Citibank, it is not like a drop down box. Though we are viewing it like a drop down box, it is not a drop down box. Okay, so for that Citibank, what we can do is, one second, where is that? Yeah, here. Just you find the XPath of this. That means find a div tag, okay, whose text is select a product, right? And then dot click, perform dot click. After clicking on that, you will get all these. Suppose if you want to click on personal loan, okay, so div tag, okay, see here, not div tag, it is a tag whose text is personal loans. Okay, this is a anchor tag inside that div. Okay, so first you find the XPath of that div tag. Okay, and then click on it. You will get, it looks like a drop down, but it's not actual drop down. It will list all the options. All these are like showing like options of that drop down, but these are all not actual options inside. Okay, it is implemented by using another one. Okay, not using options. If it is using select and options like a traditional drop down box, we must follow this syntax. Otherwise, if you want to perform operation on this, just click only. Okay, just click on select product and then click on personal loans or banking account, any option. Got it? Guys, any doubt in this? Okay, so to select the elements to that drop down box, two ways are there. Another one, third way is also there. Select by value. Okay, see here, when you see the source code here, option tag is having something called value. Okay, based on this value also you can select. Suppose in my program what we did, first we are selecting on data mining. After that, using index we are selecting algorithms. By using this data, value data, we'll try to select data structures. Okay, now by value, okay, and pass that data. Okay, select by that and give some time to observe the changes. Okay, first we are selecting data mining by using the text options tag text. Okay, after that, based on index we are selecting algorithms. After that, based on value we are trying to select data structures. by default first element it is showing drop down. Okay, we changed it to data mining, and then using index we changed it to algorithms, and then based on value of the option tag we are changing it to data structures align. Okay, now drop down is clear, right? So clearing and drop down. Similarly, we can read data from a field also. Okay, see here, if it is a text area or text field, we can read the data from it. Or if it is, see here, let me go through it. So is it clear? Shall I go to next one? Guys, if any doubts in this, let me know.
So I have one question, Venkat. It's not, this is clear. So in this something in the web page, there will be a lot of different type of operation, just like one you have shown for drop down. So
Yeah, this
how,
one.
yeah, like you show this, and there is one you show as a drop down, right? So
Yeah.
I'm talking in general. There will be a lot of other different functionality in any web page. So how we will know when to use what?
Okay. See here. 1 minute. Time coming. 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Whenever you see the source code, whenever you go and inspect, right? See here, inspect. So it is showing like Devo. If it is traditional one, then only we should use this syntax, whatever I showed. Okay. In that case, if you right click on that box, see here, this is combo box. Definitely it will be having select tag. Okay. If it is having select tag, then you must use this one. Create object of select one. Otherwise not required, just like a normal click. Find the element, click it. Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now generally we can read data from text fields and text area. Some text fields will be having some data, right? So if you want to read the data from any text area or text field, we must use a method called getText. Okay. For this clearing data, we have a method called clear. Okay. For drop down, we have select class. Okay. And then different methods. Use select class. Drop down box. Use select class. Okay. After that, for reading data from a field, we have a method called getText. Okay. Using getText, we can read. It is example from some of the elements like text area. Some tags are there. Okay. Text area, like this. From those elements only we can read the data. Or if any elements are having text, like see here, for example, a tag is there. Okay, slash a. Whatever is there in between, right? This is also text. Okay, we can read this also, as well as data from text fields and text area boxes also we can read. Now let me try Gmail one. See, what I am doing is just I am launching Google Page and then clicking on Gmail, okay, and then entering mail ID. These are input fields and doesn't have any start tag and end tag, so we cannot read data from it. Okay, if it is a text area, we can read a text field, we can read it. Okay, after that I'm clicking on next. See, for next we use a text. That means start tag and end tag are there. Like a tag, it will be like span tag, okay, having span tag, closing span, and in between next is there. Okay, once if you find this element using the text path, if you want to read this data, use dot get text. Okay, use dot get text. It will read or it will give you that data. Okay, 1 second. After entering that, we are clearing it. It is not required. Directly I'm going to click on next. See guys, here next tag is there, right? That next element. From that I am trying to read the value between it. Tomorrow I will show you how to read data from a text area also. Okay, one example I will write and I will show you how to read it. Okay, see here what it will do. First launching Google Page and then clicking on Gmail, entering Gmail ID, and then after entering Gmail ID, we should not read data from input field. Okay, next, clicking on next. Okay, generally we use get text if it is having tags like this. Okay, input is not like that. If you see input is looks like this. Okay, some close and a name ID like this. Okay, so we should not use get text with input. Okay, generally from text area fields, for text area fields only we'll use it most of the times. Okay, so if any tag is having like this, we can use it. Okay, now entering password and then before clicking on next, just I am finding that next element, I am reading the text from it. Okay, get text. After that, clicking on that. Here, just what I am doing is I am trying to log into Gmail. Before logging in, I am trying to read the data from next button. Okay, let me run it. Actually, we use this get text for reading data from text fields or text area fields. Okay, in my example, I did not find any text area one. Maybe in future, if we find, I will try to read data from there and will show you. Okay. See here, it is showing the text between text of that web element. Okay. See Gmail also like a tag having start and end and having something in between, right? So it should also show that one. Let me try it once. For input, it won't work. Got it? Why is it not working for input?
And will it always return in capitals? Because next here is in capitals.
Which one?
The next get text in capitals. Is
Yeah,
it always
this
written?
get text. Hello. Voice is little breaking. Can you please repeat once again?
I was asking, is the text always returned in all capitals?
Okay, this one, no. Actually, that element itself is having in a capital letter. Okay, let me show that Gmail one, right? Here, let me comment this. So, just Gmail one only I am going to print here. Sys out from that Gmail element. Okay, it is not always capital. Whatever is there in that only will get. Get text. Because in Gmail, right, whatever the next is there, that next is in capital letters there. That is the reason we got it in capital letters or uppercase. Okay. See here Gmail, how it is showing. G is in capital, mail in small. So we should get that only as it is. Okay. In case of here, see this next. Okay, all are in capital letters. That is the reason we got it there in capital letter. See here. Maybe it failed. We cannot read the data from it, it seems. Let me see.
So it does not take from the HTML tag, it takes from what is shown on the screen. Because in the tag it's not capital. So it does not take the text from the tag, right? Because the
One
HTML.
second. Let me show this. In a HTML, it is a capital only, right? See here, this next. Let it load. See, oh, sorry, it is not capital. Correct.
Yeah. So it takes from what is shown on the screen.
On the screen, correct, exactly. Okay. So for a tag, it is not showing. Okay, let me run it one more time. If it doesn't work, I will check and let you know tomorrow. Actually, we should use this one with text area and text fields. Okay. And after that, we are going to see reading data and then wait mechanism. Okay.
Venkat, yesterday you asked us to compose the Gmail. So will you show today that composing thing using the XPath, because I was having some doubt with the XPath thing for that compose.
Okay. At the end of the class, I will compose.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Here, see guys, we wrote the code for after click on Gmail, right? After click on Gmail, we are getting some advertisement page, right? On that we have to click on sign in. But some time back, when we click on Gmail, immediately we are getting Gmail login page. Now, after click on Gmail, it is coming to some advertisement page, and then it is there. If you click on sign in, then only it is coming into Gmail login page. Got it? Guys, observe this. That advertisement page, wherever we are clicking on sign in, that code we did not write. That is the reason it is failing here. Okay. Maybe in next class I will try to cover that one. That one will write in try catch so that it won't fail. It will proceed. Okay. If possible, we'll try it today only after covering this. Okay. Now we'll go to waiting mechanisms one. So this is the Gmail code. First, I'm trying to launch Google. After that, clicking on Gmail, right? In case, see here. Okay, let me run it one more time. You guys will understand the problem. See here. Please observe here. After click on Gmail, earlier we used to get, yeah, now also we got the Gmail page, login page directly. But in previous scenario, what happened? Somehow we got an advertisement page, and that sign in option is there like this. If you click on sign in, then only we are getting this login page. That is the reason earlier it failed. Okay. This fail is stale data element. Let me see this once again. Okay. We'll go through this code one by one and we'll see. So first thing is clicking on Google and then clicking on Gmail and then remove this statement. Okay. And clicking on entering email ID and then clicking on next. Okay. Now first I will continue with the sleeps only. After few minutes I will try to explain sleep mechanisms which are supported by Selenium. Okay. So get text also I am removing it from here, and then after click on that I am waiting for some time so that it will load the page. Okay. See now, though it loaded, it waited for 1 or 2 seconds unnecessarily. To avoid these kind of things, we must use a method called wait. Okay, that wait is provided by Selenium, guys. Okay, now let me write a helper class. Let me write a new class. Okay, already I have one class, so I'm going to write a new class called helper methods. Okay, class helper methods. Okay, or else helper class. So inside this, what I am going to do is that thread.sleep. For that, I will write a method instead of writing every time there 3-4 lines of code, okay, I'm writing a separate class. Okay, here I will write a method for sleeping. Okay, public static void wait for some time. Okay, wait for some time. Okay, here what I am doing is I will take time. Okay, int time in milliseconds. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is whatever that time you will pass. Okay, whenever you call this method, whatever the time you will pass, those many number of milliseconds I will wait. Okay, instead of writing everything here, I'm going to copy or going to remove these statements and put it here. Okay, see here. There every time, why should we write this one repeatedly? That's why I wrote a new method with this code. Okay, I wrote a new method with this code. Okay, here instead of 5 milliseconds, whatever user will pass, I'm going to use that. Okay, now helper class dot, see here, after clicking on Gmail, I will enter the mail ID. Okay, and then I will click on next. After clicking on next, okay, I have to wait for some time. Okay, helper class dot wait for some time. How much time it has to wait? 5000 milliseconds. Okay, so instead of writing these 4-5 lines everywhere, just I wrote a method in another class. I'm using that class. Okay, so helper class dot this one. Okay, got it, guys? Any doubt in this? See here.
How you are calling the method helper class from the other class?
How to call the method of one class from another class, right? Yeah, see here, generally how to call the methods of one class in another class, we must create object. Using object we have to call. That is one way, right?
Yes.
Another one, if method is a static method, that's why intentionally I made it static. Okay, if the static method, just use the class name dot method name. Okay, what is the class name? Helper class. Okay, got it. Now,
So
instead of using that one, I can do another one also.
I have one question. Instead of writing that second class there, separate class, cannot I just directly write that entire method in this program?
Yeah, we can write. Correct, we can write. I will come to that point. Here, why did I write it as a separate class? You will understand soon. Okay, we can write in the same class also one method, but that method is available to only these class members, right?
Okay.
If I write it outside, other guys also can use. Consider this is a frequently used method by everybody because everywhere we have to wait for some time, right? That's why I wrote it as a separate class and I implemented there. And what I am going to do is, just now I access using class name dot method name. Instead of that, what I can do, another way extends that class. If I extend, right, helper class. Okay, so what is the class name? Help extands. Okay,
No, your extent spelling is wrong.
yeah, ext.
Yes.
Okay, instead of using class name dot, I can directly call it like it's my own member because I extended it. Okay, so this is used by all the test case classes. That's why I wrote like this. Okay, we'll understand this soon. what is the importance of that. Maybe this, not this method, we are going to write multiple test cases in next class. At that time, instead of writing this method in every class, just I wrote a helper class, I am extending it. Okay, frequently used methods, all frequently used methods I will keep inside this helper class. Okay, I will extend this class to all the classes so that those methods I can use it everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this one also soon I'm going to remove it. For time being, let it be as this. Okay. So waited for some time. After that we will get this space. Okay. Now we need to click on compose. Right.
Yeah.
So it is a div tag whose value is compose, whose text is. Okay. $x $// div tag, okay, whose text equal to compose. Okay, so it will return only one element with this, so I can use it. Okay, now driver dot find element. Selfie camera. One for selfie, one for group selfie. Any doubt in this? No, right? After click on compose, again wait for some time.
Somebody's sound is coming. Can you mute?
After click on compose, okay. See here, after click on compose, you will get a new one, right? Here we have to enter mail ID. Okay, so find the XPath of that element. So this is a text area, right? Text area, and whose area label equal to 2. $x / text area. Okay. See here, text area, TEXTAREA. Okay, and at the rate area label equal to in single quotes 2, right? It will find the text area. There we need to enter one mail ID. So send keys, okay, and mail ID. This is the mail ID. After that, subject is like a input whose placeholder is subject. Okay, $x input whose placeholder value is subject. Okay, using this we can find the XPath of subject field, and I am going to add some subject to my mail. Okay. After that, click on submit or send. So div tag whose text is send. Okay, it returns only one, and driver dot find element. Now let me run it. See, it is taking some time to load. Okay, and see the code. Okay, it's not compose. It is trying to click on compose because left side page is not loaded completely. That's why it took some time till it loads. Okay. So it sent the mail. Okay. Got it, guys? So just now it sent the mail. Now here we gave some sleep time and all, right? Instead of this one, I explained yesterday, if you use this sleep time, we don't know how much time we have to give exactly. If you give less, okay, it may fail. If you give more, if page loads unnecessarily, it will wait till that time completes. Okay, that is the reason we are going to use Selenium related sleep mechanism. There are two types of sleeping mechanisms. One is implicit, another one is explicit. Okay, now one is implicit. Okay, second one is explicit. Why two are required? Now let me explain first implicit one. Okay, so there is a method implicit wait. There is a method implicit wait is available in Selenium. Using that you can set some timeout. Okay, whenever you set the timeout, what it will do, it will wait for the element. If it loads, it will proceed. If it doesn't load or if it is not loaded, it will wait till that max time whatever you have set. Okay, then how to set it? Driver dot, okay, manage dot timeouts, okay, dot implicit wait. Okay, like this there is a method available. Okay, here first argument is how much time you want to wait. Second one is 10 is a milliseconds or seconds, or what is it? Is it 10 hours or 10 seconds or 10 days? That is units. Okay, so that time unit. Okay, what is that 10? What is the first parameter? Okay, so we'll give seconds only. Okay, that means 10 seconds is enough for us max. Okay, like this we can set some timeout to the driver object. Okay, how to set driver dot manage dot timeouts implicit wait. There is a method. Okay, using that how much time you want to set it. Okay, you can set time that is up to, see here, if you see here how much you want, you can set that much time. But see here, days, hours, minutes. Okay, you can set. Consider, you are considering days. So now 10 days, if it did not find the element, it will wait till 10 days. If it finds, it will proceed. Now the question is, it will wait for long time also. Then why do we need another wait mechanism like explicit? What is the drawback of this? Let me explain this. First, with the seconds, let me run it. This time what happens is it won't wait. Okay, whenever element finds, immediately it will proceed. In this implicit wait, problem is there is no condition check. Just it will check for whether element available or not. Whether element available or not. Okay, it will check that. If it finds, then it will proceed to the next statement. Maybe in this Gmail case, it may work properly. But if you are using some of the elements, suppose if you are trying to click on it, okay, what this implicit wait will do is whether element loaded it or not. Sometimes after loading immediately, that clicking property may not be enabled. It may take 1 or 2 seconds to enable that property. Okay, in that scenario what happens? In that scenario what happens? It may fail, right? Guys, got it? See here, it is doing fine. Okay, sorry, I forgot to remove the sleeps. Actually these sleeps are not required, right? Because we set implicit wait. So no sleeps from now. Okay, so I am setting 10 seconds. Okay, consider some elements after loading immediately its properties like clickable property and all may take some time to get those properties enabled. Okay, if you use implicit wait, what it will do is, your intention is you want to see guys this space. Sometimes we are getting this space. Sometimes we won't get this space. If you get this space, here it will try to check Gmail ID. Okay, email ID field, but it is not there. It may fail. In this kind of scenarios, sometimes it may come, sometimes it may not come. These kind of scenarios, how to handle it? Will soon we will see this after this wait mechanism. Okay, now let me finish this implicit wait. Okay, so now 10 seconds. In 1 second only element Gmail loaded, consider. Okay, its clickable property is not enabled still, but implicit wait, what it will do is it will consider, okay, element loaded, then proceed to next statement, go to next statement. But next statement is clicking. By then, if that property is not enabled, clickable property, then this may fail. Got it? Implicit wait will wait until element presence, until elements available. It won't wait for its properties. Now, we have another kind of waiting mechanism, explicit waiting mechanism. What it will do? In addition to elements availability, it will check some of the properties. Whatever the property you will write, like wait until its clickable property is enabled, wait until its visibility is enabled. Like that, you can set some of the conditions using explicit wait. Okay, got it, guys? Did you understand the drawback of implicit?
So, what he's trying to do is to limit